welcome to Raise Sensation. I'm your host, Dan, and in this episode, I'll be looking at the spring 1994 issue of IMAGI-MOVIES. And IMAGI-MOVIES was an offshoot of, and I'm going to go back to the ad you can see here, Cinefantastique. They were trying to build themselves their own little empire, I think. They already had Cinefantastique. And they also had Femme Fatales, which was kind of a girly mag kind of thing. I don't know that their empire lasted much longer than these things. I'm trying to remember. I guess Cinefantastique, they kept going the longest. It had been the longest running. It was early. This is number 3 of this. And I thought I'd flip through this. I found another big box of horror magazines. I've got a lot of horror magazines. Slicks like this, pretty professional looking, as well as lots of fanzines. But there were just a couple of things in here I thought I'd point out that I thought made this a better than, more interesting than average issue. Well, the first thing to talk about is Wolf, which was quite a disappointing movie to me. So I'm not going to go over that. Here's a little article on The Shadow, because the Alec Baldwin movie was coming out, so they have a little history of the Shadow character. It's kind of good. I already knew plenty about that. I was really into the pulps, and so, there was nothing there for me. This was interesting, though. This, Brian Usna, who had a hand in a bunch of the early Lovecraft hit movies, did this movie, H.P. Lovecraft's Necronomicon is the title of it. And it's an anthology of Lovecraft, at least inspired stories. They're inspired, kind of like the Reanimator and the Beyond were inspired by Lovecraft. So they have all the stories have a Lovecraft angle, but they're not really straightforward adaptations rather. Except for Cool Air is pretty close, with David Warner. But the thing about this is, this article was here. All these articles came out about this movie, and I was so looking forward to it. I didn't see it for many years. I finally saw it. I think it was the bootleg I had was from a Japanese Laserdisc or something, because there was some kind of rights thing that was tied up and nobody wanted to, I think there were so many production companies involved in it or something like that. I don't really remember. And this article still thinks it's about to come out. But it's not the greatest movie. By the time I saw it, I was kind of like, eh. But it's worth seeing if you're a Lovecraft fan. It's got some interesting stuff in it. I just remember being very interested in the fact, they got all this write-up about it, and then it sat around for years. And then this was the big thing. This is the reason I bought it. Giger. There's a big article in here about him, his processes, his artwork, his design work, that kind of stuff. This was the first really big thing I had read on him, and it was really interesting. He was a really thoughtful guy, and his ideas behind his work and his struggle to get his actual ideas on screen. I mean, so many people have, been able to grab his ideas and work with them because, once he produced them and gave them to the movie companies owned them, and so many people, comics, movies, everyone ripped off his designs for things. But he was really interesting, a bit of a showman there, you can tell. The the way he's dressed and everything. And Alien was really impactful on me as far as the design and the ideas behind it. So, and then here's an interview with Jeffrey Combs, the star of many of these H.P. Lovecraft things, including the one, it's the Reanimator of the Beyond, and that Necronomicon. He has a role in that too. So he's in a ton of movies. And once you recognize him, you see him popping up everywhere in smaller roles. And then this article and they've got these sexy shots of the actresses. That's kind of like what the whole vibe is behind that Femme Fatales magazine. This too. I love Chris Elliott. I loved him on David Letterman, and I loved him on Get a Life. And this movie, oh my God, I talked a friend of mine into going to see it, and he was far less than impressed. I thought it was a great movie. There's not enough actual jokes in the movie for somebody who's not. A lot of it is a homage to Ray Harryhausen, and with a jokey attitude. There are jokes in it. It's not enough to make it one of those big summer blockbusters or something. The special effects in it are really good for the budget, and it really is a great, like I said, homage to Ray Harryhausen type films. I really like it. It's a fun little article talking about the making of the film. And here's an article about Barbara Steele. Her long career with a lot of genre work under her belt. Here's an article about whether or not Cthulhu is unfilmable. And then there's the usual reviews and stuff. Anyway, that's a look at it. Hey, if anybody has a favorite issue of one of the, an issue of any of these mags like Fangoria or something that sticks out in your mind, let me know, okay? Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.